and he's got some information on advances in crowns and getting you in and out of that visit quickly. Andy, welcome back to Your Health.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It's been a while since you've been here, hasn't it?
Yeah, busy fixing teeth.
Well, talking about crowns today. I guess first of all, let's tell people, what are crowns? Some people never, have heard of it. They don't really know specifically what's a crown.
When a tooth is broken down to such a point that a filling won't work anymore, then
in other words, it's a large filling.
It's a large filling. Those big gray ones in the back, and you get that broken tooth, that classic dental emergency. Typically over the years, what was done is a crown or a cap. And what's done with the cap is that it surrounds the whole tooth and holds the tooth together, rather than asking the tooth to hold in a filling.
Okay. So, what about broken teeth? Would these include broken teeth as well?
Badly broken teeth where the tooth was not strong enough to hold in a filling would have a cap.
Okay. So, again, what's the difference between a cap and a crown?
Same thing.
The same exact thing. So people
same
use the same terminology. They say either they got a cap, they got a crown.
Exactly.
Okay. So we're clear on that. I guess, what are the advances? Because we know there's been so many in dentistry. What's the latest thing, trend that you're using for making crowns or caps?
What's happening in dentistry is two things. The materials are changing, and the way that the crowns or caps are manufactured is changing. What's happened in our office is we're using a CAD/CAM technology. Basically, rather than taking that goopy mold or impression that you'd send to the lab and wear it temporary, you go ahead and take a picture of the tooth. It sends it to a computer system, and we actually can design the crown on the computer and then send it through a wireless connection to a milling chamber, and that chamber machines the crown out of a solid block of porcelain. And
how long does that take?
The patient is done, finished with their crown cemented in about an hour and 15 minutes.
So the patient walks in, they need this crown, this cap.
Yes.
You do your what do you call it, CAD/CAM?
CAD/CAM or CEREC.
All right. Put it through the computer, and while you're preparing the tooth, I guess, the automatic finished product basically comes out of the mold.
Exactly.
And then you can put it back into place.
Right. So instead of taking a mold of someone's mouth, I take a picture with a CAD/CAM camera. This technology has been used in manufacturing for years. The most precision-fit parts in manufacturing are manufactured through CAD/CAM technology, through robotic technology, and now it's come to dentistry.
Now, you said the changes in the material. What's the change in the material that you're using now?
The changes in the materials are drastic in dentistry over the last 5-6 years. The materials that we're using are company fabricated. This is not something a laboratory has, a piece of porcelain or glass that a laboratory has melted down and then has to re-solidify, so to speak. This is made by a company, whether it's Vita, Ivoclar, one of the porcelain companies, and it's milled or machined. So it's about 40% denser than what a laboratory can produce on most levels. And what's happening now, because the laboratories are seeing such a change in the speed of manufacturing and the quality, they're adapting this technique for their labs. We're just doing it chairside while a patient waits.
So you're cutting out the middleman.
Yeah,
they're getting to be very mad at you, aren't they?
Well, we still use them for a whole lot. We're not doing bridges and things like that yet, but in due time we will be.
I want to say this is, I guess, got some good effects for the patient. It's one visit, but it's bad for you because you're taking away a second visit that you'd be having them in a chair.
I think they're happy though, as much as they like to see me, or maybe not.
Well, that's the point. I guess our patients are much happier with this effect.
They're happier for a number of reasons. Typically, with this technology, because it is adhesive, I don't have to take away as much tooth as I would for a cap. So a lot of times I'm not doing a cap. I'm just covering 3/4 of their tooth. I'm leaving more of their healthy enamel. So it's a more conservative technique, and it conserves healthy tooth structure. So I'm doing about half as many caps as I used to. Now I'm doing a lot of onlays and inlays, which used to be those yellow gold ones that you used to see, if you remember. But now they're beautiful and white.
Or some people like the gold ones that they to show off their carrots, and their smile.
Exactly.
Which brings us to color. I guess you have to match up the color of the other teeth in the mouth as well?
Absolutely.
And is that taken automatically into account when this mold, this inlay, or what's the terminology we'd use for it, this cap is made?
It's either it can make veneers, which is a facing, it can make caps, or it can make onlays or inlays, which are more conservative caps or crowns.
All right, we use that terminology, and you got me already Inlays and outlays. What are we talking about?
An inlay or an onlay, the porcelain covers half to 3/4 of the tooth. We leave more of your enamel there. We don't have to take away all the enamel that we would have to for a crown.
The enamel is the outside of the tooth.
The outside of the tooth, exactly. We leave more of your tooth there. That's what an onlay is.
Okay, so you're sort of slapping it on, I want to say.
Right. Well, we're relying on the adhesion technology, which is now in its full maturity in dentistry, to adhere that onlay to the tooth, and it works wonderfully.
Now, two things this brings into play. Number one, how long will it last? Is it as good as any of the others?
Absolutely as strong or stronger than what we've had in the past. But again, because this is a factory-made piece of porcelain, it's not gone ahead and made with powder and liquid from a laboratory or melted in the laboratory. It is a consistent material every time I use it. There's no guess factors. Even though you might have a good lab, sometimes, something might come back. It's not as dense as it might have been because something might have happened and the doctor wouldn't know it.
Right.
So you control those factors where I know every time what I'm putting in someone's mouth.
Second thing, of course, big thing, cost. How does it compare with the old method?
Well, this is very interesting. It can be less expensive or just as much as a regular crown. If we're doing a restoration, now that I can be more conservative, that is smaller than a crown, okay, that doesn't take as much time to make or manufacture, that fee can be 2/3 of a crown, or even half for a very small one in the back of the mouth. All the way up to, if we were doing a cap, it would be a fee for a cap.
But then again, you're saving time because it's one visit compared to 2 office visits.
And everybody benefits. Patient is all around.
Now, with this, and you mentioned you're not taking as much of the tooth. Does that bring into play that you might not even need anesthesia?
Not that conservative. Once you need this kind of porcelain restoration, your tooth's pretty broken down. This is at least half of your tooth is gone. There are techniques for very small fillings now, as we've discussed in the past, whether it's laser or microabrasion, where you can get away with doing a small to moderate filling without anesthesia. But quite honestly, once you get into that dentin layer, the second layer of the tooth, most of the time you're going to need to be numb. It has to be a pretty conservative filling for you to be able to get away with it without anesthesia.
Now, I guess, what are, on the outlying horizon here, is there anything new that you're looking at as far as, restoration with these kind of things? You think this is going to change again?
It is going to change again, and where it's going to change, the software is just in its full maturity, full 3D graphics. We can do anything on it. But it's going to change from the materials. They're already making materials that this will be able to machine that are going to be 4 to 5 times stronger than what we even have now. And now the material is very much enamel-like. It's incredibly hard. It doesn't wear the adjacent teeth, and again, incredibly conservative.
Okay.
So it's
Andrew, we need a phone number so we can let people know where to get you.
It's a Gentle Dentistry in Haworth, New Jersey, 201-384-1611. Our website is www.gentledentistry.com.
And again, you can connect to that to our news12.com website. I want to thank you again for that information. Hopefully people will have a happy, healthy mouth.
I hope so.
We're going to be right back, so don't go anywhere. This is News 12 New Jersey, and I'm Dr. Bruce Bonanno, as local news gets.